Good morning, Iona. This is spring like the season. What?
That was an intense lead-in song.
Why was that an intense lead-in
Because it's
song?
9 in the morning.
I think it's a perfect song to lead
Most intense thing I
into.
listen to at 9 in the morning is Piano Man.
Kenny, why are you so old?
That's a wonderful question. I actually, I was at bingo the other night, which, adds to the old.
Bingo.
But I was setting up for bingo, and one of my coworkers looks at me and says, "Sometimes you remind me of an old man," but I didn't hear her, so my immediate reaction was, "Huh?" And she goes, "Yep, exactly."
I like how immediately when you said "huh," the thing completely peaked.
Well, I'm
You need
trying
to
to
cool
break
it,
it.
buddy. Okay.
I'm trying to break it.
You need to cool it. All right,
need
so
to cool it.
I don't know how we should start the show because truthfully, Kenny and I have absolutely no material. We're kind of winging
Well,
it.
that's not a good way to go. But that's not
But
at
it's
all how
honest,
I would have
and
gone.
we have to be honest with our people.
No,
right? I think
no,
so. It's
you
9
don't.
a.m., Kenny. It's
You
okay.
You have to.
So I
fake
think we
it
should
till you make
introduce
it.
ourselves. I think Kenny should go first, so that I
Oh,
can like
okay.
model it after you.
Well, I'm Ken. I'm single.
Kenny, this is not a date hotline.
My second year on the morning show.
Hey.
Some would call me the voice of the morning show, but those people
Who's calling him this?
are my mom.
Who in the world is calling him this?
It's exciting to be back. It's exciting to be here with you, Spring.
Yay!
Because we've known each other now for 3 days,
3
and it's been fun to know
3
you.
days.
And I'm excited. Nobody though can replace Pete. We miss Pete.
No,
But
Pete is really
Spring's
awesome.
here. Spring is my Tuesday, Thursday, Friday co-host.
Gal. I'm the gal. We
And
still
then-
need to come up with a
Yeah, we need a
name for our show. I thought
See,
it was the Spring and Kenny show,
But the
I
thing
thought
is,
that's so
we
dry.
need it's dry, and you're also not here all 5 days. So on the Mondays and Wednesdays when you're not here, it's like, what do I do with the Spring and Kenny show? We can't have a new guest host every.
Why not?
Well, because
I think a guest host would be cool.
Well, Joe,
have our
who's
president come
behind
in.
behind
Woo!
the glass,
President.
Jersey Joe over
Silent
there.
claps, silent claps.
It's going to be difficult for him to, get behind the Spring and Kenny show, I think. Why would he want to keep coming on?
Well, because then you could have your separate show. Think of it this way. You're like the main co-host, and then you just have main host, and then 2 co-hosts. So I could be like
So
the
it
cool,
should just,
funky
honestly, it should just be the Kenny show, and then whoever shows up could just come in.
one. I disagree completely.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I disagree. Well, tell me about your summer, because I was about to talk about my summer. Then
All
I
right.
have no idea
Well,
what
no,
you
I
did.
just introduced myself. So you
right.
introduce
So what
yourself.
could I possibly
and then
say
you
about
do your
myself?
summer, and then I'll go.
Well, I'm spring. I'm a season.
Winter's
Apparently,
coming.
I have chronic BF. If you guys don't know what that is, I can't say it on the radio for you. Kenny, don't give me that look. I can't say it on the radio.
Well, why
It's
would
a
you
dog
say it?
face. Dog face.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. You got it. Female
You're
dog
mean.
face. I'm
You
not
look mean.
I'm very nice.
No, honestly, you're kind of mean.
Well, for some reason, Demers just made me vice president, and now I am vice president.
Jeez.
So I guess I'm in charge of most of you, except Joe. I'm not in charge of Joe. Joe's in charge of me.
All
That's
right,
how it's going to roll right now.
Let's not tell people that we're in charge of them.
But I could tell. Wait, you know what? Before I get into my morning, I really want to know what Kenny did this summer because for some reason Kenny made it like a point that he's single. So I just want to know. I just want to know, what did you do this summer?
I
Did you
didn't
go
do
on many
too much.
dates?
Well, I lived here. I did go on a few dates. Here's a story.
Also, Kenny grew back his hair. If you guys didn't know,
Yeah.
he was bald last semester. It was
was
not
weird.
a good look for him.
I
at
looked like
all.
a thumb.
He did look like a thumb, actually.
So all right. So here's a story. I met I found an attractive woman on OkCupid.
What?
So I decided I was going to talk to her.
Uh-huh.
So I did, and then she replies to my original message, not in a mean way, so don't think that mean things are coming. But she
That's
says,
exactly what I thought.
she says, "Oh my God, Kenny, how are you?" And I didn't know who it was, but she knew who I was.
That's kind of creepy.
So it was weird, right? Mm-hmm. So I decide that I don't care. I'm gonna, keep going with it. We go out to dinner. Just awful. It was just an awful, awful experience. The entire thing was awful. And halfway through the dinner, I realized that she is one of my best friends from high school named Chris Versa, his ex-girlfriend. As I'm sitting at the dinner table, I realize that. And I go, "Oh my God, you dated Chris. And she goes, yeah, you didn't remember that? And then it got really weird. And then...
I wish you could see my face, because Kenny and I aren't facing each other.
And then I went home.
But my face is kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, Kenny.
Yeah, that happened. That was a true story about my
God.
life.
Well,
That's, it hasn't really changed much since last time we talked.
I'm going to scoop this up, figure out what I did. What did I do this summer? I did a lot of things this
You dyed
summer.
your hair.
I'm blonde now, guys. I'm baby J-Lo. What's up?
Baby J-Lo.
Baby
There's
J-Lo.
an article. I was just looking up news, and there's an article that says why J-Lo isn't giving up on love. So I guess you don't have to give up either. If you baby J-Lo.
That hurt. Well, I've also been called Beyonce, but that's like an ego boost.
Yeah, let's not do that ever again.
Wait, let me see. What did I do? Oh, I did see Beyonce in concert. That was
that's cool.
phenomenal. What else did I see? My God, I don't know what I did this summer, Kenny, at all. It's just like a whole blur. But I could tell you what I did this morning.
Yeah, tell me what you did this morning.
Okay, so I have a human sexuality class, guys.
I think I was supposed to take that
Yeah,
class.
Kenny, you know what? Funny story about this. Kenny, last semester said, hey, you need a fifth class? I need a fifth class. I said, Kenny, buddy, we should definitely take 8 a.m.
this is not how that
Excuse me. This is how I remember it. I said, hey, we should definitely take human sexuality together at 8 a.m. And what did Kenny say? Kenny said, I will be there because I have a 9 a.m. show. Where was Kenny? Does anyone want to guess where Kenny was?
Kenny switched out.
Kenny switched out same day, first day of classes. So when
I
they said
woke
Kenneth
up
Reichman,
for the class. I went over to my
The
computer
worst.
and I switched out.
the worst.
That's exactly how it happened.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened today. For some reason, he keeps making us do activities, which is it's fine, it's great,
but
I
it's
like
8
doing-
a.m.
It's 8 a.m. I didn't eat breakfast. If you guys don't know, if I'm not fed or if I'm not like fully awake, I'm very cranky.
So all the time.
Excuse me. Anyway, I'm gonna ignore that comment. So, he gives us Play-Doh. Now, what do you think we're gonna do with Play-Doh
I
in a
don't wanna
human
know.
sexuality class? Does anyone want to take a guess? And by anyone, I mean Kenny.
I mean, I do, but I also don't at the same time because I don't think I
Well,
want to say
he
it.
said we need to make a clay version of a female organ. So guess who got the best in class? I did.
Not something. to be
Life
proud of.
size model. And then everyone else was apparently uncomfortable, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Well, yeah.
I'm very
that's why I
comfortable
kind of
with all
wanted to
that.
take the class.
It's a
Because,
really good class.
you know,
I enjoy it.
It shows how uncomfortable people really are with their own sexuality and with
I
sexuality
honestly
of other people.
think only Jay and I are the only ones comfortable with
Yeah,
our
and it's
bodies.
weird, isn't it? Because people do that.
Pretty often when you think about it.
Yeah, it's a
It's
thing.
not like it's something that's
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a kosher topic to discuss.
on the radio. Actually,
On
you
the
know
radio.
what? I was thinking about that this morning, and I did hear, what was it? It wasn't Imus. It's the show before Imus.
Don Imus, I don't think is allowed on the radio anymore.
Well, it was something on the radio, and they were talking about female sexual organs. So, I mean, maybe because we're a Catholic school.
Well, it's probably the best thing that Don isn't talking about them anymore. Remember the last time he talked about women?
Yes, I do remember
Yeah.
that. I'm not going to repeat that.
Yeah, we
but that
shouldn't.
was my morning.
That's a good morning.
I think so. It wasn't too bad. So,
There's got to be no better way to wake up than making a life-size model of a female organ.
that's what I said. Oh, and we also had to think of words for the female organs. So I'm not going to repeat that on the radio because
We'll talk about that at break.
it's like, you know how George Carlin has like,
Yes.
what was it?
The 7 deadly
Things you shouldn't say?
Yeah, the
Spring
7
has a
words.
whole list of them, and I
Yeah,
say them all.
shocker.
So right now we're going to go on break, mainly because I feel like listening to some Robin Thicke, and I have some potatoes and eggs waiting for me, and I'm kind of hungry.
You feel like listening to Robin Thicke?
I love Robin
Nobody
Thicke.
thinks that.
I
You're
love
the
Robin
only
Thicke.
person who's
We
had
just
a
talked about human
feeling
sexuality
for
class,
Robin Thicke.
so I want to play When I Get You Alone.
Oh, boy.